Good morning, students. Today we discuss the chapter 8. The name of the chapter is the problem of deficit demand and excess demand. So in this particular chapter, first we discuss 3 points. One is the full employment. One is the full employment. Full employment means a person who willing to do work at given wage rate is called full employment. But in case of full employment, there is one type of unemployment that is called voluntary unemployment. So it's mean only those person are not get the job, those are not work at the given wage rate. So in case of full employment, there is the only one type of unemployment that is called the voluntary. Voluntary means ऐच्छिक, अपनी इच्छा से. After that, we discuss about underemployment, under unemployment. Underemployment means in economy more person are eager to do work, but work is less, so some person not get job. So before the situation of full employment, it is called underemployment. So in this case, unemployed people are in the economy. So unemployment is there. After that, over full unemployment. So what is the meaning of the over full unemployment? It's mean those, it's mean after the position of full employment there is not increase in employ in, increase in employment. So we not increase the level of employment, and due to the full employment in the economy, due to the full employment in the economy, there is not increase in supply. So full means all person who are eager to work, they get the job. Under means before the full employment, and over full means after the full employment. So with help of easily we defined what is the deficient demand and the excess demand. But there is some another type of unemployment is also there. Now we discuss full employment means not zero level of unemployment, because earlier we discussed in case of full employment there is voluntary unemployment is always there. So we say full employment means not zero level of unemployment. So earlier we discussed aggregate demand, aggregate supply, saving and investment curve, and equilibrium point, and different shape of the curve. Before discussion of under employment, equilibrium, full employment, equilibrium, and over full employment, equilibrium, we discuss about the diagram. O x-axis, O y-axis, aggregate supply and income curve. So aggregate demand curve. So if aggregate demand curve is ADF, means aggregate demand at the level of full employment, so ADF. So this E point is the point of equilibrium. So AD under ADU means under employment equilibrium point. So E2 point is the under equilibrium point, and when aggregate demand increase after the full employment over full, so E1. So employment level under employment level equilibrium and over full employment equilibrium. So with help of this AD and AS, we define three situations. One is the over full employment. Over means full employment is a situation, a person who willing to do work at the given wage rate, they already get the job. But after the full employment, if there is the increase in aggregate demand, so there is not increase in aggregate supply, so E1 is the point over full employment, and this one is the underemployment. So in next topic we discuss excess demand and inflationary gap. Excess demand and inflationary gap, deficit demand and deflationary gap. So one by one we discuss. So deficit demand and the deflationary gap. First we explain what is the deficit demand. So we make the diagram. Aggregate supply AS by aggregate demand. So condition is full employment, and before the full employment, under employment situation. E point is the point of equilibrium, and this one is the E2 point. Here we take the OX axis and OY axis, AD, AS. So here we see this condition we define 50% are willing to do work and only 20% are getting, so 30% are unemployed due to the less demand. So in that particular case, if demand increase, so we have option. Already we have 30%, we increase the 30, and after that we increase the supply. So it's mean in that particular case, if aggregate demand increase, so there is no increase in price. So that's why we say that particular gap is called deflationary gap, because there is no change in price. Deflationary gap because when we increase the supply, so there is no increase in price. So price decline because there is the underemployment in the economy, and we increase the supply, and after that we increase the aggregate. When increase the aggregate demand, so there is no inflation, there is the deflation in the market. Price of the journal commodity not increase, but the same we define with help of the diagram aggregate demand, aggregate supply, aggregate demand. So in that particular case, E point, OY, AD, there is no variation between the diagram is same, but the same condition is applicable, but that particular gap, this is the full employment, this is the under full employment, so that particular gap is called deficit demand. So it's mean employment level 50-20, this value is assumed. So O x-axis, OY axis, here we take the employment. So this is this particular gap under employment situation when there is the increase in demand. So we apply the more and more labor and increase the supply. So we cover the deficit demand, because demand is deficit. When we increase the supply because we have surplus labor. So separately we define what is the deficit demand and the deflationary gap, because in examination question come explain deflationary gap with help of diagram and explain deficit demand with help of diagram. So according to you explain, and every diagram you give the some explanation. O x-axis we take employment, OY we take the aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So ADU means aggregate demand under employment, ADF means aggregate demand at the full employment level. Both are intersect, E point and A2 point. E2 point is the underemployment equilibrium, E point is the full employment equilibrium. So with the help of this, easily we define what is the deflationary gap and what is the deficit demand. So next topic we discuss here excess demand and the deficit demand. So what is the excess demand? So excess demand we define with help of the diagram aggregate supply, income, aggregate demand, full employment equilibrium. E point is the show, OY axis, O x axis, employment level, AD and AS, and E point is the equilibrium point. And after the full employment, if there is the increase over full employment, E1, so there is the one gap after the full employment. So this is the situation of the full employment. After the full employment, when there is the increase in the aggregate demand. So increase in aggregate demand when after full employment, then increase in aggregate demand. So we have single option, only increase the price of the commodity, not increase in the supply of goods. And due to this, we have single option there is increase in price of the goods and due to only price of the goods and due to inflationary gap come into existence. So this is the this gap is called the excess demand, and in the same diagram we define this is the inflationary gap. When question asked in the final examination, inflationary gap, so you make single diagram of inflationary gap or ask question